Welcome. We'll do introduction. Ernest Kabet, Chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee.
I'm Simon Kiplagat, Vice Chair to Budget and Appropriation Committee.
I'm Maria Losile, Member of Budget and Appropriation Committee.
Alex Kiprono Kurui, Member to Budget and Appropriation Committee.
Daniel Tuit, Member of Budget Committee.
He also is Clerk Kiptum, Chepsoy, our accountant, Motonyo, our Clerk Assistant, Albert, our Clerk Assistant, our Ansad Karanja, our Sergeant at Arms, Ngeno. We also have the press. I want to give you the opportunity. We hope you received our issues, and you will take from there. You introduce yourselves, and also you can table your report, and we proceed. Chairman, welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, it's okay. Just use it that way. So long.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chairman.
It's just for purposes of answered.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Clarity.
I'm Michael Chebon, Chair Education Committee and Vocational Training. Here with me I have the department, Wasiri, and his team. I'll also give them to introduce themselves. And I also have my clerk, Anne. So I'll learn over to Wasiri to introduce and then continue.
Thank you very much, Chair and your team. This is the Department of Education, Vocational Training and Library Services. I'm Reverend Simon Kiuta, the CEC. And here with me is Anne Chewache, the CEO. And yes, Chairman, we have come to respond to the information that you wanted us to bring forth to this committee. Probably we can now table our report to the committee. Chairman, we did receive communication from your committee requiring us to bring our input toward some of the questions given. And the first question is that we were asked to provide an overview of the proposed estimates of revenue and expenditure and the department's priority programs for the year 2025-2026. And Chairman, in our response, the year 2025-26 budget proposal is aimed at improving both the environment and also learning resources across our three programs. We have three major programs, that is the ECD, vocational training, and also library services. And Chairman, to ensure retention and transition of vulnerable learners in vocational training centers and ECDs, the department and specific wards have appropriated funds towards capitation and school feeding program. Now, given the ongoing changes in technical and basic education curriculum, it calls for funding towards vocational training to ensure that they remain competitive against the TTIs We therefore request for additional funds towards vocational training capitation to at least 15 million. Chair, this committee, I just want to bring to the attention of this committee that in the TVET sector today in our country, there are so many changes that require a lot of input and also resources. For instance, Chairman, in the TVET sector, we are no longer examining our learners through Kenya National Examination Council. Now the examining body that is going to begin at the end of this year is TVET CDAC, whereby our learners will be getting their learning through modular system, modularization. It's not going to be what it used to be. And that, of course, calls for resources. And the table below gives a summary of departments' priority, programs, sub-programs, and breakdown of allocations. Now, beginning with the ECD, Chairman, within the ECD, there are a number of issues that need funding, and particularly in the promotion of quality and access to learning. And this means we have 1,003 centers, and out of those centers, not all of them have learning facilities, classrooms, and also sanitary facilities like toilets, and also access to water. Some of our centers do not have access to water, and therefore water tanks are required. So in this budget, Chairman, we have a provision of putting up 38 classes at a cost of 49.4 million. And also we would want to equip 37 of them at 3.7 million. And in order to enable our learners get the best of their learning, we all know that the curriculum has also changed from the traditional curriculum that we used to have of 844 now to CBC, and it's no longer even CBC, now it's CBE. And we have at least some estimated budgeting of 5.6 to buy learning materials for our 1,103 ECD centers. And this is, of course, supposed to be a continuing activity, because the curriculum requires a lot. And also, Chair, for CBC or for our learning to progress well, there should be coordination. And we are estimating that this coordination by our PEOs and even our main office here will cost 800,000. And as you come to sanitation, we anticipate to put up 16 toilets at a cost of 12.6 million. And of course, this is a continuous thing. And for the benefit of these members, Chairman, what we have come up with as a department and also Public Works is that there were mistakes done in the past whereby money is allocated to the construction of one classroom. And then there are no toilets, there's no water tank, there's nothing. But as we speak now, every time a classroom is to be constructed, we do it as a package, whereby you have the classroom, you have the furniture, you have the toilets, needed, and also a water tank. And so even when wards allocate money through public participation, will always liaise with the MCAs of the area to find out if it is a class, do they have toilets? Do they have this? So that we don't have to repeat what we've done already. And then, Chair, as you come to vocational training, in our vocational training, our goal is to promote development of skills through vocational training and allow our young people to access these skills. But as even they do that, we have to enhance quality of what kind of training they are acquiring. And for this financial year, we could have, of course, wanted to have, workshops in our 15 existing vocational training centers and upcoming 4 of them. But we'll have 2 workshops and 2 classrooms for this financial year at a cost of 9.7 million. And of course, this is a continuous process going forward. And also, we intend to equip 1 workshop, but our dream budget for equipping was 5 million. But we've not been awarded that in the estimates. And so we will have to contend with that. But we ask this committee to consider at least adding something. Because, Chair, we have been issuing bursaries to high school, universities, and of course, control of budget said, no, that's not your responsibility. And we request this committee that since that is not our main mandate at the moment, at least those monies that we used to allocate to the secondary education can also be channeled to what is supposed to be our core, that is vocational training and also the ECD. And Chairman, for us to also retain our learners in the ECD centers, children and food are one thing. And we would have desired to feed all our children in this county, because children are children. It doesn't matter where they come from. But because of budgetary constraints, we've not been able to do that. And so we've been feeding children in a few, not many centers across the county. Last financial year, we had 21 million. This year we've been, the estimates for this year is 24. And we intend to feed learners in 603 centers out of 1103. And this is spread across the 10 sub-counties. And probably somebody may ask, what is the criteria? The criteria is what the Ministry of Education has been doing. The Ministry of Education has been feeding, children within marginalized areas and also informal settlements. The basis is actually anchored on the malnutrition index. And so even as a department, we've also done that. But as you have heard Chair me say, it's our desire that going forward we will be able to feed all our children across the county. So you have the listing of how we propose to distribute the 24 million that is estimated to be given to our department. And then, Chair, when you come to capitation of our vocational training, we have a big problem there. Traditionally, we've been allocated 30 million. Let me take, for example, last year. We were allocated 30 million. But because of many other needs, the department was told you can solve some of your problems using your own money. And so out of 30 million last financial year, we were told by the cabinet we should take 12 million to employ 50 instructors on a contract. Because in our 15 existing vocational training centers, we only have 37, instructors against a required number of at least 80, 85 or 90. And so we were told, take 12 million, and we actually took that, put it into HR, public service, told us, gave us advisory that what you can do in order to engage these teachers who are under BOM in the existing vocational training centers, bring their files so that they could carry suitability test for them. And we brought them 50 good files of our teachers. And I can tell you, Chair, as I speak, there is no response up to today. And our money is already with HR, which means it's just going to be there, or it's already used up. And now, 3 million we used to buy equipments, because we are also lacking lots of equipments in our vocational training centers. So left with 15. As I speak, Chair, the estimated amount given to us from 30 to 8 million. And you know what that means? It actually means that we can easily close shop. Why? Because TTIs, which are quote unquote our competitors in a way, first of all, they are allowed to take all grades, beginning from even artisan grade 3. And they are given 30,000 capitation by the ministry. And they can access help. And here we are with our vocational training centers, from 30 million to 8. If it were not of wards, like Cabernet ward, not because you are here, Chair, Cabernet ward, and also wards, Maji Mazuri, actually almost all ravine wards, I can tell you some of our vocational training centers could be closed by now. Why? Because there is no funding. So what I'm asking of this committee, if nothing is going to be given to us, please return our money. At least just let that money that used to be ours come back. If it's not the 30, at least the 15. So that we can still retain our children, our learners in school. You can actually see, Chairman, page 3 there, on top, in the middle there, that there are 23.3 million by wards. Now, Mheshimiwa wangu from RIPCO, I'm sure in this estimated budget for next financial year, probably, if I'm not wrong, there should be some bursary for vocational training. But I don't know if it's really for vocational training or for high school. So there's some money here which we cannot claim that it's for vocational. But there are words that have specified that these are for vocational. And we are proud of those particular words that have done that. And I don't know. There was something. Sorry, Chairman. There was something. I don't know. It seems it is left out. There is also allocation of 4 million. We gave a dream budget of 6 million for us to begin the Kujiajiri program. And I don't know. I'm not seeing it here. And already there's an estimation of 4 million for Kujiajiri program by KCB. We said let's begin somewhere, and we intend to begin in 6 vocational training centers cutting across our county. We have 4 million as a county, and they will give us 4 million. And of course, going forward, even maybe to next financial year, part 1, probably even our honorable MCAs can also allocate money so that we give our young people this modular training. They are trained for 6 months. And after they finish, they are actually given tools of trade. So you train somebody for 6 months and they go out there as self-employed. And so I'm sorry that that is not captured here, but of course in the estimate, in the budget estimates for this year, it is there. And then the library, of course we made our proposals as a department, but we feel so strongly that apart from the reading materials that we require for our libraries, the 3 libraries, the Cabernet one, the Missouri, and also the Ravine, but what is coming out as an urgent thing, and it's captured in the budget estimates, is ablutions. So there's 5.6 for putting up ablutions in Cabernet and also Missouri and Ravine. And then the second question, Chairman, comment on the conditional allocation loans and grants. Even without finishing the question, Chairman, we don't have that. As a department, we don't have loans, we don't have grants, and we hope someday we will have. And then number 3, Chair, we are asked to provide a summary of human resource stating the designations, authorized establishment, and that one you see Annex 2, Chair. In Annex 2, Chairman, that is our establishment. There are positions that are within our organogram or within our establishment, but they are not yet been filled. But that's not our major concern as a department at the moment, because we know of the financial constraints that we have. But Chair, we have a position within the library that was, of course, there was somebody there, but because they passed on, then we need replacement of that particular person. And now the issue of instructors is still coming back again. You remember, Chair, I have told you 12 million of our money. We put it in HR. We don't know if it's still existing, but with your push, Chairman, that money of ours should be kept so that we employ the 50 instructors on contract. Because it is our desire, and I'm sure it's the desire of honorable members, that we have at least one vocational training in every ward. And we cannot achieve that if we do not have the instructors required. And then, Chairman, again, we have very serious shortage of ECD teachers. Out of the, in the 1100, those centers require 2,206 teachers, PP1, PP2. But as I speak, we only have 1,587 teachers. So we have a shortage of 619. And as we were making our proposal, Chair, we were saying, yes, we did improve the terms of our teachers, our existing teachers, and they are happy. Of course, we do not have yet the hardship allowance for those that qualify for hardship allowance, but that may not be a big problem at the moment. But the shortage, you find that there are centers without even one single county teacher, and yet we have put up, a facility with our own money. And so we were giving our proposal as a department that since we cannot employ the 619 at once, is it possible that we can employ 200 this year, 200 next year, financial year, and going that way? And as we arrived at, as we did suggest that, we require 58 million. Now, it's the CEO of planning is not here. Chairman, sometimes this budget of ours goes through and processes. So there was a time when we had 56. And it was almost at the tail end. But I don't know if we still have that or we do not. If we don't, then it's going to be a big problem for us. But one thing, Chairman, even if it's not there, because I don't know, I wish he was here to clarify if it's there or not. We have 59 ECD centers that require at least one county teacher. So that in our 1,103 centers, we should at least have one county teacher, even if the other class is going to be manned by the one teacher. So if nothing happens with the 200, we are kindly asking this committee that at least give us the opportunity to have those 58, so that, as we say, these are our 1,103 ECD centers, at least each one of them has a county employed teacher. And that is not very costly. It may be around 18,000. I mean 18 million. Sorry, Chair. Around 18 million. And therefore, that is what I may want to say in regards to possible employments, if this committee will also assist us in that. And then question 4 is asking us to provide a tentative list of all the projects that have contracts committed and projects that are at the paying stage. And Chairman, you can turn to Annex 3 of our report here. And those are our projects. Those are our projects, and the status is all those. Sorry for the stapling. It seems others are upside down, but at least that is the status of our 89, I believe, projects for the ending, for the financial year. I believe, Chairman, members can have the liberty to go through them. As I proceed to the last question, 5, where we are asked to comment on all the departments spending bills. And you can see on Annex of spending bills, which are totaling to 11 million. We have 9 bills. And there are many reasons which contributed to this. Some of them have been paid halfway, others probably may not have been completed. And so we do plan, of course, as a department, this should be fast charge as we get to the new financial year, because it's not good to go with debts as we begin other projects. So briefly, Chair, that is the presentation that I wanted to present to this committee. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Waziri. I think just ask a few questions. You will tell us something about the absorption rate. What are the strategies in this coming financial year that you will put to ensure 100% development that you are able to absorb? There is also a comment on the department fast-track implementation of the same. I also have a question. You are trying to explain this feeding. To me, you've not been able to capture what is prevailing. If you visit the ECD centers around Cabernet, you realize all the government-sponsored ECD centers are almost empty. In fact, I was discussing with CEO, and she was asking me, why do you have 10, 20 people in? So what has happened, Waziri, is in urban areas, those parents who are able to provide, take their children to private schools. So the children now who are left in our public schools are the poor of the poor. So to me, there should be a person provision of feeding program. Because it would be so unfair. If you go to Gurionari now, you'll find the children who are there are the ones for those poor people. Most people here will take their children to private schools. So looking at it, I would really look at a situation where we design a feeding program per child, so that I was also looking at how you are trying to share. And I can tell you this creation of new sub-counties is also going to create another imbalance. Because if Baringo North now, you have shared Baringo North, West and North, and you are allocating 2 million, and you're saying Baringo Central, 2.5 million. You go to Baringo South, you are saying Mugotane, 2 million, Baringo South, 2.5. You can see the marginalization already is taking root. So I would wish that you tell us which method is the best. I think we would rather target a child, so that you don't allocate money to a place and maybe the children there could be more or less. I did some rough estimation of the centers. So if you are going to divide 24 million divided by 600 centers, each center is getting around 40,000. So that could be your mathematics, that each center to get 40,000. And maybe that is the feeding program for 2 months. I wish we could sit down and design something so that we don't frustrate children who come from poor backgrounds, even if they come from Baringo Central, which is perceived to be a rich constituency. So the issue of VTC capitation, we don't know, and still we would have loved if the treasury, but we'll ask them also, because what informed the reduction from 30 to 8? Why this inconsistency? Because, for example, the efforts that we've put to ensure that we have learners in the VTCs, I'm sure we have now a bigger number in the. So why would the government reduce funding? Or are they trying to say, since now wards are coming up? Because, like, for example, in my ward, the public themselves, they like the idea that we should continue taking these people to school. So in my ward, they decided that they are going to finance 5 per sub-location. So you'll get, we have 10 sub-locations. So you'll get, they have allocated 2 million. So I was crossing my fingers thinking, now if you do a matching fund from the government side of another 2 million, then we can easily bring 100 pupils under sponsorship. So we would really want to know how did you participate in this? Because this amount has just been placed there by the treasury or maybe the cabinet where you sit. So let me allow my colleagues. Yes, then there we have also participation by memorandas, like Bas Kofia on education and vocation training. They have mentioned understaffing, and they're saying Baringo County government has employed 1,617 teachers against 1,153 ECD centers. So, majority of the ECD centers have one teacher employed by the county against a requirement of at least 4, where there is one stream of 25 pupils for each grade. This has forced parents to chip in to complement, failure to which the education of their children is adversely affected. Then the key asks, ensure progressive allocation in employment of ECD teachers. So I think they are really in line with your request of, can we employ more teachers? They are also concerned about the poor infrastructure and equipping of ECD teachers. Most ECD centers not provide conducive learning environment. Their key ask is enforce the construction and equipping of ECD centers right from budget allocation. So I think you already mentioned something that initially we could build a class without equipment. And then later we talk about maybe the toilet. So I think they are also, then the feeding program. They're saying the program-based budget allocates 24 million against the projected requirement of Kenya shillings 75 million. The feeding program is not fully implemented across the county and has the bearing on learning outcomes as well as health. Their key ask, county assembly to allocate sufficient funds, resources for the sustainability of the program. Here they believe the assembly allocates money for then low enrollment in VTCs. Majority of the VTCs have hardly enrolled to 50% of their capacity. Enrollment of VTCs is still low across the county due to low awareness of programs offered in vocational training centers. The ask is increase allocation of the funds for public awareness to boost enrollment, sustain the program for transformation of VTC. So it means they are also concerned of there is need for civic education, that we are now dealing with skill. So I think that was, I have just picked one. There are many memorandas. We will be looking at them ourselves, but I felt I should mention that one because they are really, their comment on education was spot on. So.
Thank you, Chairman. I wanted to ask concerning the, you say you want another 614 ECT teachers, 619. I don't know, because you are in cabinet. That proposal came in during the cabinet when you were approving this budget estimates. Was this money factored in, or how much was it factored in? Because now, us as the assembly, we don't budget. We just come and do the we appropriate and we see that the budget has been done correctly. So I don't know from your request, from this request you have written to us here, is it a new request or something which is already in the budget and you want us so that we protect it, not to be affected? Secondly, how is this teachers balanced? Because now, when you say there is many schools, you get a school with one teacher. Another school you get to 2 teachers, and another school you don't get any teacher at all. How have you balanced so that we ensure, first of all, before even having 2 teachers in every school, can we ensure that every school has one teacher? So that we go for somebody, for the additional teachers, because it's very important. Our children, the foundation of our children is very important, and it's key for us. Concerning, you said this 12 million, the arrangement you made with the treasury that you transfer 12 million to human resource, is it to pay instructors? If it's about paying instructors, so does it mean that these people have not been paid? using that money, the 12 million you are saying. And if they have not been paid, how do they survive? How have they been surviving for all that time, for the last 12 months? And have you made a request, a formal request? Because you need to make a formal request to Treasury that this money has not been spent. Can it be rebudgeted in the next financial year from July, so that this money can be rebudgeted, redirected to the same function, so that Treasury cannot divert the money to another thing. So you need to make a formal letter that we have money in human resource of 12 million, which we are requesting to be, because the financial is ending. Can you rebudget it in the next financial year to serve the same purpose, so that we cannot lose that money to something else? Because you know what, during regarding expenditures are budgeted when it's not spent. It's budgeted to other capital investments. So you need to make a formal letter as the CEC of Education to the Treasury team, and even copy to the HR, so that they ensure that this money is rebudgeted back to the budget in this coming budget. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Oh yeah, I was saying about the bursary money. I think you need also to give clear information about it and the projects that are missing. And even I remember there were some projects who were the money were taken to pay deficits. It's not seen. Like in my ward also, Nginyang and Lemuyek, which had 2.5 each. It's nowhere to be seen. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Tweet. Okay, Waziri, I was also checking on your pending bills. You seem to have only pending bills for development, but don't you have office pending bills? Or these are recurrent? Okay, thank you. You can proceed to answer the questions.
Thank you very much, Chair. I believe with the ending budget, our absorption is going to be good because the projects are on and these are classes being constructed. So we strongly believe by the end of this month, we will have at least be in a position to pay most of our contractors, but I do not have the exact percentage as for now, but I do believe our percentage is going to be higher. And going forward, Chairman, let me admit that usually as a department, since our projects are not, they are not of, big proportion, because there are classes, toilets, and all this. But this particular year, something happened that in the middle of the year, there was some review of BQs, and which took some time. Okay, by the public works, and so it delayed a bit the implementation of our projects. But going forward, Chair, what I can assure this committee is that immediately the budget is passed for this financial year, upcoming financial year 2025-2026. When it comes, we do our evaluation. We begin our evaluation immediately, so that by January, contractors are already doing their work. By April, we should be actually paying them. That is our goal, and I believe God keeping us alive next year, Chair, as we meet, probably our absorption rate will be very high. That's my assurance. And then, for sure, Chair, your observations are very right, that most of our public ECD centers, especially around urban areas, we have children drawn from very humble backgrounds. And we are speaking the same language. For me, the desire of my heart is all our children in Baringo should be fed. Even if it's for 2 months or 1 term, they should all be fed. And my chair here knows very well that our meals and nutrition bill, I believe, has been passed in the county assembly. And this committee can also help us as a department to make it mandatory. By the way, Chair, it is mandatory by the law to feed children, especially between day 1 and day 1,000, because that is a very, very important, age for them. So I do agree with you 100% that all our children should be fed because they deserve that. And also, now your concern of the reduction is also our concern. And we ask this honorable committee to also follow up with us, because we do not understand. It was not done in cabinet. It was done somewhere, not in cabinet, I can assure you. And usually when we are being advised as we make our budget is that you should not try your level best to at least stick to the last year's budget. You should not, you should not even project for a higher budget. So now we did not even estimate so much. I think in our ambitious budget we were saying if we could be given 45 million. Since we have been at 30, if we could be given 45 million. But now for that 30 again to be reduced to 8, it's not making sense even to us. And then I really appreciate those that are raising, the members of the public and those concerned raising the issue of understaffing. That is really a thorn in our flesh as a department and also as a county. And if we could be given, even if we could be given those 58 or 59 teachers, if the 200 is not going to be possible, if we could at least be given the 58, so that at least all our counties should have at least one county teacher. Mheshimiwa, my namesake Simon, did ask, did we present this in the cabinet? For sure, yes, we did. But of course, because of financial constraints, the one of 58 seemed to have been agreed upon because it was captured, 56. It was not actually 58 million, but it was 56. That's why we really wanted to have the CEO planning to be here to at least let us know if it is still there. And I'm saying, if it is not there and it's not possible to recoup that 56 million again, at least for the 58 centers that are not having any one single county teacher to be considered for this financial year. We did our balancing, Mheshimiwa. When the executive and the county assembly agreed to improve the terms of our ECD teachers, one of the conditions was that as we improve the terms, we also do the balancing. Because it was very difficult then to transfer a teacher who is earning 9,000 or maybe 11,000 to a school that they need to take a motorcycle to get to the school and back in the evening. So when we improved the terms, we did rationalization. And we tried our level best. The only thing we could not do then was to move a teacher from one sub-county to the other because they do not have that addiship allowance. The money, although we improved their terms, is not yet sufficient enough to actually transfer the teachers like the TSC transfer their teachers. So we tried our level best in as far as that is concerned. But you see, 2,206 teachers required, and then you have 1,587. Even if you balance, you may not really get to where you would want to. We tried our level best. And then now, again, there was this question asking about our teachers that we intended to put on contract. We set aside that 12 million. Mheshimiwa, note that these teachers are not paid anything. The BOM within the vocational training are paying them. But the payment is very small, 10,000 only. And so we said as a county, why don't we at least have them on contract? Because we cannot be able to employ all of them at the rate of other employees. Why don't we take them on contract and pay them 20,000, adding 10 from what the BOM are paying? Okay, so they not that they are not paid anything. And again, one other challenge we are facing is that these very teachers who are paid 10,000 by the BOM, when the TTIs advertise, since they are qualified, they go. So if you don't do something, then we can easily close shop with time. I don't know if I have answered all that the members did ask. Okay. Mheshimiwa Maria, I will give my CEO here probably to talk something about those projects that you say they are missing here. I may also be briefed to that. But about the bursary. Now, Mheshimiwa, you can agree with us as a department that we were all thrown into disarray by the control of budget. Because as a department, we had done all our paperwork, our part. The committees on the ground had presented the names of the beneficiaries, and we did our requisition. So when we were waiting for money, there was no money forthcoming. And as that happened, you know, Mheshimiwa, very well that even you, as members of county assembly, you are supposed to cough some money to meet the deficit. And I'm sure a number of that bursary money seem to have been taken away. So, what am I trying to say? I am almost saying we are no longer having control over that money that has not come. Yeah, we have no control over that money that has not come. In fact, it is probably the members of our county assembly that could even have redirected that money to something else because it was through public participation. So when it has not served the very purpose that was meant for our department, then in a way, we may not really have very total control over it. Yeah. Thank you. Maybe CEO, you can say something regarding.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair. Regarding the projects that Honorable Maria has spotted, let me just say maybe the list that we've provided is the list of those projects that we raised the files this financial year. And I think Chemoril and these others, the Nginyang and the Lemuyek, those ones are for the previous year, and which they were ongoing as we came to this financial year. So they were being, I mean, I think even some of them completed, they must be at the paying point. Yeah, so we didn't want to put them here because what we wanted to put here are the projects that for this financial year. Yeah,
maybe just a follow-up, Madam CEO, is that I'll agree with the Honorable Maria Rosili that we have projects missing in your reports. Maybe you go and update. I have a project like Kibo ECD that is supposed to be in this financial year, and I cannot see in your reports. So maybe you can go check on the report so that you can update the missing projects that are not captured in this report.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Another thing, Waziri, just a view, is that the other time we were in a meeting in Naivasha that was organized by a donor, and they sold us this thing of smallholder farmers that was meant to support the local community so that they can supply foodstuff to our centers. That one has not been done since. But now I also have just an idea that now that for the last maybe 13 years of devolution, we've been having projects like water being funded every other financial year. I know by now the distribution of water is not so far like it was before devolution. I'd request, if it is possible, if you can now champion an idea that encourages last mile connectivity of water to our ECDs, so that because most of our water may not be metered or may not be supplied by our two big companies, Kirandich and Chemsusu, but most of them are supplied by maybe underground water or even protected, or maybe weirs or things like that. If you can have the same in our ECDs, so that you can encourage, as we encourage 4K clubs in primary schools, we can also introduce 4K clubs to our ECDs, so that they can even be doing fruitation programs. They can have some fruits within their compounds. In 2, 3, 4 years, Waziri, the plants will be mature with fruits. That can also boost, it will also bring nutrition value to our pupils. Thank you.
Waziri, I saw that you finalized for us. I was also thinking that, I'm also aware that most of the schools have a feeding program. I can easily say that we should have a working relationship with the schools, that because all ECD centers, except a few, are located in schools. I don't imagine that those schools are providing food for only the primary section and leaving out the ECD. So I still feel there could be duplication here, because you're identifying the same schools that are being funded by the government. So I want us to look into that. The idea that I have is we can easily work with the schools. When we came in, as we were establishing ourselves as a devolved unit, we went with a lot of, we went there saying now ECD is ours. And to some extent, we apportion ourselves a cost that we were not able to cover. So, can we go back to the same schools, partner with the schools that are hosting these ECDs or where the ECDs are found, and agree, for example, if they are receiving food. So it means if we can chip in to give the 40,000 to the school, they can easily support themselves. And again, if we go back to the ECD schools and we bring back the parents to understand that they were not absolved completely from taking responsibility on their children. When you go to secondary school, even if the government is paying capitation, the parents are still paying for money. But the idea that we exonerate them completely from ECD is what has denied ECD centers the necessary support from the various parents. So if we were to design a feeding program for all the ECD centers and we channel this resource to the ECD, then the parents will now realize, so we have a program here. We can also participate. The government comes in and says, we have done a cost. We can feed these children, but we want to have a 50-50 engagement. So we can easily involve the stakeholders who are the parents and finance this process, because as it is, we are struggling to employ the teacher. We are now struggling to sustain the children again in the same schools. We are struggling to build the infrastructure. So we've seen parents participate even in fundraising for structures in their schools. They are fundraising for purchase of buses in their schools. So why would they be very distant from the ECD infrastructure? And the ECD is the same child in primary, is the same child in high school. So maybe that is, that's just a suggestion, and maybe you can make comments on that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Let me have CEO say something to that effect.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Maybe just to respond to the concern on maybe the learners or the ECD learners also benefit from the feeding in the primary schools. Initially, the ECD learners were considered, but it came a time later that they were not included. And so, if a school or a primary school is feeding the primary learners, then it means because there is this school, the ECD center that is attached to that school, it's obvious that they will not eat while they live there. So what they used to do, the head teachers, what they used to do is they feed them inclusive, despite the fact that they are not given. Okay, and again, another thing you had noted in the first place, in your first question, is that when a learner, when we consider the learners for this food, the meals program, we have a ratio. We target a learner. We don't just say we give it to a school. So if learners are 10, those are the learners that we calculate. We have a ratio that has to be calculated, and that amount, or say that that portion is given to them. So it is not that we just say we give such and such a school. All right, and then so what I can say is when we want to consider, we will always ask the primary schools to consider, but there are these others which are feeder schools. So the feeder schools are the ones who consider as the county most of the time, because actually they need to be given. And for your information, the fact that we consider some of the feed them. Like Molo ECD Center, we gave them this time. The food was delivered, but it is unfortunate that the food is getting finished before the term is elapses. So you see, we still, despite the fact that we have provided the meals, it is not enough. for the learners. So, but still they have appreciated that much. And again, I realized, because I found that the parents are the ones who cook for them. You know, we don't have any provision for the cook, but the parents also chip in and come and cook for their learners. I also felt that because these parents are the ones who are cooking, they tend to increase the ratio for the beans to be more than that for the maize. They say our children, but again, they don't know in nutrition factor, it's not good for young children to take a lot of proteins. So that is another thing that I don't know how we are going to let our parents know that we need to know what the content of the what do you call it? The proteins, or say the nutrition that our learners need to have them in their bodies. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair.
So you are saying when we were being fed ugali and all this and maize, more maize than beans, it was for our betterment. And rice. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Mheshimiwa Alex said a comment regarding smallholder farmers, and let me tell you, Mheshimiwa, I'm an advocate of that. I'm not in agriculture, but I'm a serious advocate of promoting our own. And in fact, this financial year, the 21 million that was allocated to feeding program, we actually wanted to partner with PAMCOS of Ravine. But now there was some challenge when it came to procurement. Because, you know, they are considered like private in a way. And you cannot single source a private entity. You have to subject this to open tender. And you can be sure if we subject to open tender, KCC and some other big giants will actually take over. But there's good news in the weaving if the Baringo, what do you call that company? The Baringo Investment Company is registered and fully registered, and then now we partner with BAMCOS and probably other groups within our county. I personally will prefer us going the milk way, because through that we can promote our own farmers and also give our children what Nyayo used to give us. And through that again, you know, you solve a problem. These are the little ones studying with the older ones of the primary school. So when you say this is milk for the little children and it's kept in their store, you know, there's no much, you're not just telling over that milk. But now with the maize that we take to our schools, haichukwangi muda, because our primary schools have been so good to our children. So when we bring ours, it is used alongside the rest. And then again, I have taken your suggestion of why don't we promote the issue of last mile connectivity, especially when it comes to water. And K-Wash is actually going to help us a lot. K-Wash is going to benefit our ECD centers the same way it's going to benefit primary schools. And the program is that when the primary is connected to water, obviously our ECD is going to benefit from that. And for places where they will not be in a position to, that is why as a department we are saying, as you put up a classroom, you should have a 5,000 water tank. At least during rainy season, our children can access clean water. And for the 4K club, for our young children in ECD, in the ECD, that is really the way to go. Because even the actual curriculum, the ECD curriculum, is promoting agriculture and all this. So we can begin from even our little ones and plant fruit trees and all this. So I take that very positively, and maybe someday we'll show you what we have done in some of the ECDs. Thank you very much.
Chairman, I'll be so happy to be shown what has been done in some of the ECDs. But now, again, Waziri, BAMSCOS. How private is BAMSCOS? How public is BAMSCOS? Because I'm asking this chair, knowing very well that we've been supporting BAMSCOS so much. The amount of money that BAMSCOS has consumed from the county government is enormous. I thought, and I'm sure there is a proposal of funding BAMSCOS again in this financial year. I thought, in a way, because we've been supporting BAMSCOS in so big way, I thought there would be some agreement, some MOU from BAMSCOS and also the county government that even facilitates the budgeting of BAMSCOS by the county government. Now that it is almost clear that it is a private entity, and it really sits on a private land.
I really
so that because he's introducing another topic outside this. Of course, BAMSCOS, we know it's a cooperative, and there are so many things that have happened that cooperatives, like we even give grants to people, individuals. So the interest I thought you were asking is if we can, you are saying there's a partnership or there is a way they can help us in the provision of, I think it was the issue of milk to the learners. So maybe I thought he was going to bargain for maybe a concession given the much we've done for them. So maybe you can summarize so that we still have other people.
Thank you very much, Chair, for having us bring our report to you and also our prayers. I know, of course, we know the envelope, the resource envelope is very small, but in some of the things, especially like the employment of those 59 ECD teachers, and also the employment of 50 instructors, we will pursue with Treasury about our money, and please also help us so that we are able at least to provide proper training to our learners, both in the vocational training and also in the ECD centers. Otherwise, I really appreciate you having us here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chairman, for the time you have given us. I think, yes, the Wazir has said, it is the department that really we need to support them in a very big way, because without it is our future. So we need to keep them support, and especially on the issue of the teachers and the feeding program, so that, without our children also coming to school, some of us, we came to school because of food, and we eventually completed school. But we also need to keep, at least we support them, get food, and they will come to school. Thank you.
So much. You're very much welcome. You can have tea. Thank you. Yeah, Sergeant Atam, you can invite them for tea. You can also invite the other team.